Now, remember at the top of the show we were talking about smartphones, how ubiquitous they
are.
become.
Even for me, as we know, I'm somewhat reluctant taker-upper.
Can you? In fact, I've ditched my wristwatch. One of those for young too. Well, you've got one. You've got one on your phone, so why do you need one?
No.
But of course, it does so much more.
Yes.
And perhaps even making films rather than just taking pictures.
Indeed.
And that means you can make a home movie or maybe just even a short film. And it's just a matter of reaching into your pocket. There you go.
Australia's only dedicated smartphone film festival is back for its second year, recognising the best in filmmaking using your phone. Welcome, we're joined by festival co-founders Ali Crew and Angela Blake. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And we know that you have brought in the tools of the trade here as well this morning. So was the idea to start this film festival because you yourself found that that's something that you're involved in doing more and more of? So that's something that's, you know, taken hold of your lives, like probably most of us really.
Yeah, well, we both do acting and a lot of theatre and stage, and we're starting to get into filmmaking, and we're realising pretty quickly that filmmaking can be really expensive and quite prohibitive as well because of that, and we wanted to create an opportunity and a platform that was accessible and affordable.
I mean, it's cumbersome, isn't it, if you're looking at a real camera, even just those video cameras from, 5 or 10 years ago, lumping them around, changing tapes, batteries. It's so much easier now, isn't it? And I was just saying to Miriam, I had a very long driving holiday over Christmas with the kids. You just whip out, and you can take panorama still shots, but of course you can take fantastic movies as well.
Yeah, well, the phones these days are equipped with full HD technology, which means that something shot on this tiny phone blows up amazingly to a screen. And we have our Galafandos at Chevelle, which is a massive screen, and last year our projectionist didn't even believe that the films were shot on phones because they're just so beautiful and crisp, and the technology is amazing.
So the film festival, SF3, kicked off last year. What was the response like? What were the types of films that you were seeing from the entrants?
Oh, we got such a broad range of films. We got a lot of documentaries, I guess, because films, they're not too, the cameras aren't too intimidating on a smartphone, so they are really good, lend themselves really well to documentaries. But we also got lots of great stories, lots of international entries, and some really great Australian entries as well. So our top 10 films were a real mix, documentaries, local and international films.
We actually got just over 500 entries last year from 40 countries, I think, yeah.
Wow, not bad for a debut. And how are things shaping up? You're calling now for entries for this year.
That's right.
How can people get involved?
So you can go basically to our website, sf3.com.au, and there is where you can enter your film. So it just has to be a 6.5-minute film, shot entirely on a smartphone or tablet, and you've got until August 1 to make your films.
Now, Angela, we're talking about tools of the trade, and you've got your smartphone there. It doesn't look like an ordinary one because you've got a couple of attachments there. So, what do they do?
So I will say that you don't need these attachments to make a film. Our winner last year shot it on an old phone with nothing. It was just a great film. But in saying that, if you are willing to spend a tiny bit of money, and one of our sponsors this year, a new sponsor, is Oloclip. So these are actually some Oloclip stuff they've sent us. This has got a studio, so it's just really to get a nice steady shot. It also doubles, I guess, while you're editing to put it down and you can edit. And these are some lenses that just clip on. So they're tele lenses, macro, micro, fisheye, wide angle. So they do so many different things just to make that shot that little bit crisper, really.
Yeah, well, we were talking, obviously the visuals are coming there, as Miriam was mentioning before. Audio, is that problematic? Because obviously the microphones are very small, but also you can't necessarily get them right under someone's mouth, can you?
That's true. Well, I mean, the microphones are designed for talking on a phone. They're not designed for camera. So it can work if you're in a quiet environment. It can work if you do film very close to your actors. Otherwise, we do recommend that you would get an external microphone or fix it in editing. We don't leave it to editing, but you can. There's so many apps these days that do anything from if you have a shaky shot, they will stabilize that shot. So it nearly gets rid of the shake, and these are all free apps you can download. There's great free apps you can fix sound, and so it's quite the technology to fix these things in post also is really amazing and so easy to use for beginners to professionals.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of positives, but are there some challenges associated with using a smartphone? Some tips some bits of advice that you might give people, common mistakes that people make, for instance?
Well, I guess the first tip we always say is always shoot in landscape. Don't shoot up straightways, because then you get those dark lines down either side of the shot. So that's the first tip, actually. Always shoot that way.
Yeah. This one sounds so silly, but it's like you throw your phones everywhere and they're in your pocket. I mean, just clean the lens. Yeah. People forget that, it's a camera, but also that lens can get dirty. So clean the lens. The other tip really is just story. Just write a good story. We watched, between us, both of us watched the 500 films last year, and I mean, stories ring out. So if you have a good story to tell, that's all you really need. You don't need fancy equipment or lenses. They help, but you don't need
You've got a potential movie camera in your pocket. So that's what we say. Just if you've got a story to tell and you want to tell it, here's your opportunity. Start filming. You've got 3 months to make that film and enter it into our festival.
Fantastic. The power is in your hands.
Yeah, it is literally in your hands.
Brilliant. Angela and Ali Crew, thank you very much for telling us about the festival.
Thank you very much.
A new exhibition is on display